Hello.
Hello, right. If you're back here, you'll know that we were attempting to do some questions off the Facebook group, but due to us rabbiting on far too much, and there's no way I was going to edit it down to one watchable video, it's had to be a two-parter. I apologise about that. You've got us again. So
We can have a camper van revisited.
Something like that. So this is why they go on too
The
long.
sequel.
So we will now continue.
Die Harder.
Oh, Jesus. Why do they go to two-parters? We don't know. Apparently it's me. Anyway, can I go?
Yes.
Right, are you
Go.
sure? Right, so now the
Puppy's
dog's
fed
coming
up.
in, yeah. Right, we'll continue with more questions and off we go.
Okay, these are a little bit more technical. So how we're going to do this one is that I'm going to ask Rick the questions because I may be the engineer, but he's so much into all of this sort of thing and his background with the T5 and that and whatever. So anyway, so the first one is from Valerie Good, and she's asked about Wi-Fi router in the van. What do we use?
Right, we don't at the minute. We just got another iPhone with a Smarty SIM in that we use as a hotspot, but I've been contacted by a Wi-Fi company, you know, van Wi-Fi, asking if I want to do a video on their Wi-Fi, and I initially said no, not at the moment, because I'd just done 2 power banks and I don't want to flood the channel full of stuff like that. But I did say come back to me in the spring, because I might do it when the weather's nicer. I don't want to do it sat on the drive. I'd like to do it on a campsite while it's nice. So maybe, yes, I'd look into that. But on the whole, because we carry 4 phones with us and they're on 4 different networks, we don't tend to struggle, do we, to be fair? So yeah, that answers that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so Steve Worsley,
Again.
he's asked a couple of technical questions. The first one was about dash cam and do we use a GoPro?
Right.
And then his second one was about a drone, and he says that he thinks that the channel would benefit from it.
Right, so dash cam, no, we don't have a dash cam. To be honest, we've got one in the house and we've never fitted it to any vehicle. People are going to say, why not? Just haven't, don't know. The footage that you see when we're driving off is an iPhone with a split screen app on it. And GoPro, no, we use DJI Osmo action cameras for all of our other filming. Nothing against GoPro, not tried them, but I hear a lot of people say they crash a lot and overheat a lot, and whereas we've never had any issue with the action cameras all the time that we've been using, certainly the older one. The new one that we're filming on now that we've been using recently, I have to say I'm impressed with the camera and the picture quality, but the wind reduction is really bad on this one compared to the initial one. But yeah, and as for no drone, no, we don't have a drone, and yeah, I know a lot of channels have them, and I'm not denying it improves the quality of the footage, but for me, I still try and maintain that this channel really is a diary that we do of what we do. We've got a bit more entertainment-y, and I've tried to do a bit better with my editing, but in fairness, adding another camera and more stuff into editing, it's not for me. I'd like one, but I don't know. Again, maybe in the future, if it takes off, the channel, if it takes off a bit more, then maybe. But I haven't got the time to invest into it. Really, my editing is, I've got a spare hour, let's throw these in and see how it comes out, and I don't want to invest any more time. You've got to remember, as well as doing this channel, I've also got another YouTube channel for my cars and stuff, and I just don't have the time to mess about. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay, Dave Newman, he's asked about comparison of your new tyres on the MPG, road noise, etc. And then James Jeffries also has mentioned about LPG, and he's remapped his.
Right, okay.
So off you go.
I did touch on this on the van tour video. Yeah, the tyres definitely are noisier because they're all terrains. Yes, the MPG suffers. It's doing 27, 28 to the gallon, and Pearl on standard campervan tyres was doing low 30s. This is an auto that wasn't. Consequently, I've just been speaking to a guy this morning actually who's got a 9-speed auto, and he gets 31, 32. So we're suffering by at least 3 or 4 miles to the gallon on the tyres, but it looks great, so I don't care. What was the next one about LPG? Someone said
MPG.
MPG. Yeah, well, I've answered that. I thought you said LPG. Sorry.
I think I said MPG. I could have
matter.
said LPG, but meant MPG.
Yeah.
That was James Jeffries asked about. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Asking about remapping.
Oh yeah, remapping. So basically, the van is still only a year old, and it's still got 3 years Fiat warranty on it. I'm not even going to attempt messing with it. Well, I'm not going to, but I'm not going to pay anybody to attempt to remap or anything. It's all right, very well, people saying, oh, it's all right, it doesn't do any harm, this, that and that. They can tell if you've flash mapped an ECU, and I am not remotely interested in Fiat arguing the toss with me about any warranty work. When the warranty runs out, it's a possibility, and I know you can get the plug-in boxes that are removable, but it's not for me. The thing is, when we had the motorhome, 27 MPG was what it was. When I had my bay window camper van back in the day, 15 mile to the gallon was what it was. I don't really care.
Diesel was a lot cheaper though.
Yeah, well, that was petrol, but I don't really care, to be honest. Yeah, all right, you could probably save 10 quid on a tank by getting a few more MPG. 2 pints of beer is a tenner these days. Just take the hit. It is what it is.
Okay. Sam Monks said, we're looking at vans that don't have double glazing and rear windows. Auto Sleeper Kingham, very nice van, by the way. And they are glass as opposed to plastic. Just wondered if you'd ever had any type of these windows in a van, and what was your experience, good or bad?
To a point, yes. My Volkswagen T2 had single pane windows, although they were opening. They do suffer with condensation a lot more because they're only single skin. The Auto Sleeper, is it Auto Sleeper? The Warwick XL that we really like, they have the same, the fixed glass. They look great, but the lack of opening windows would bother me, and also I'm sure they must be a bit colder because they're not. But not.
Yeah, you can't actually say.
You can't say till you've had one, and we haven't had one. But it would just be, my advice would be, if you can't open them, I'd really think about it, to be honest, because ventilation in some time in the summer is a big thing. So yeah, but they're a great looking van, and they look better from the outside with the glass windows, in my opinion. But so sorry, I don't think that helps. But
okay, Rosemary Gallagher asked about the rattles in the van. I don't think she meant me, but with all of the vans that we've had, and this goes back to when Rick had his T5. You know, we wrap the cutlery in paper and kitchen roll, that sort of thing, and whatever. And the glass tops we put tea towels and that sort of thing, the dry mat underneath the glass top. But what we will say about this compared to Pearl is that it's a lot more solidly built. It has to be said.
Yeah.
And obviously not just that it's more solidly built, but a lot less plastic.
Yeah.
You know, all this round here, you know, that's not going to rattle like plastic would and this sort of thing. you know, you can see the build quality,
Yeah, definitely.
and it does make a difference. But you're never going to eliminate all the noises. Rick says, if I can hear a noise, just turn the radio up, because of all his years with Land Rovers. That's always his comment.
I've had 11 Land Rovers, and I just don't listen for noises anymore. But Heather's car is really quiet, and she goes, "What's that little squeaking noise?" I can't hear it because I don't listen for it. This van is 100 times quieter than the eldest was, but it's still not perfectly quiet. But it's a van. It's a big metal box with things bolted to the side of it. It's never going to be quiet.
Okay, so Alison Jeffries, she said that when we buy our van, it will be the only one, and there will be limited funds. So what would we class as essential?
That's really difficult.
It is difficult if you're
layout.
Yeah, if you're planning on going, essential extras. Sorry, that was the word I missed. But if you're planning on going off grid, solar.
Yeah, 100.
You know, don't go for one that's only got a 50-watt solar panel or something like that. You're going to need a couple of solar panels. Yes, we've ended up with lithium in this, and I think that in the future we'd probably go towards the lithium battery now that we've got it.
Certainly not having to think about battery usage is a thing. You've got no anxieties at all about charging, have you, or worrying how flat it's going to go. So yeah,
the other thing is that the technical side with the apps and that sort of thing, you know, having that a little bit extra and having that facility to be actually look and see, okay, you can get better solar chargers which will give you that and that sort of thing. So from that technical side, the other thing is, like I say, research it. If it's going to be your once in a lifetime van, go and look in lots and lots of them.
Yeah.
Go to the shows, go inside them all, sit down on the loo.
But if you
stand in the area that you're going to be changing in, you know, you're always going to have a limited amount of space. There is never the perfect van, because the best inside isn't necessarily going to be the best outside, because it's going to be too long to park in certain places and this sort of thing. So it is a very difficult one.
But if we're going on to extras, which is what essentials or something, then ramps, definitely a set of ramps, and just basically research the layout, and like you say, batteries and stuff like that. Really, stuff that you don't think about. Anything else, you know, chairs and stuff, we're not classing that as essentials, are we? Because you're going to take, but just think what you're going to use it for. It's all different depending on what time of year you're going to use stuff.
Yeah.
How many people? It's a very difficult one to answer. Research is the only thing I can say.
Yeah, I mean, our screen cover.
Again,
it used to be black. It's now sort of a grey colour because it's been used so much.
But yeah, that is again.
But we class it as essential. In the winter, because it stops the condensation and obviously keeps the heat in, and in the summer it keeps the heat out. You know, it is a good insulator from the heat coming in. So you know, that's been well worth every penny. So it's picking up those things that you think will be, you know, well worth it. And recently, the mud things.
Oh yeah.
they're not
track mat things.
Yeah, they're not ridiculously expensive. Again, if you're going to do anything on grass, they are well worth it. They do make a difference. And that's it. Everything else is personal taste, I suppose, isn't it? Okay, so Alan Shaw asked 2 or 3 questions.
I think Alan's buying an S&L.
Yes. And he's basically asked about diesel heating versus LPG. He's also asked about living off grid up to 3 nights in the van. Would the electrics, will they last? Upgrading and that sort of thing. And then also he asked about the skylight. Is that a standard size?
Right.
That might be, because that question was this week. It might be since we did the review, the tour.
Quick answer is, when we originally spec'd the van that we were going to buy, we wanted diesel heating. Not because there's anything wrong with the LPG. It was just, it's easier to find diesel than LPG, and that was the only reason. This fan has got LPG. We're quite happy with it, so it's personal choice if you want diesel or LPG. It was 500 quid more to have the diesel version over the LPG version, so it's again whatever you want. Next question was off-grid for 3 nights. Depends on your batteries. This has got lithium. There's no reason why you couldn't do off-grid for a lot more than that. Again, it depends on your usage. If you've got all your lights on and the heater on all the time, because obviously even if you're running the heater on LPG, the motor runs. But even with lithium batteries, a lot longer than you would with AGM batteries.
Time of year.
If there's any sunshine. But yeah, even on the worst of days, 3 days with our setup would be very easily achievable. Size of the skylight, it's a standard. I'm looking up at it, you can't see it. It's a lot bigger than it was in the CV20.
I wonder whether that's why you asked the question.
Maybe. I will drop the measurements down underneath now because I can't guess and I can't show you because I'm not going to move the camera. But yeah, that answers that one, I think.
Okay, Billy McDonald, he asked, do you have a smart shunt or does your control panel give you the information? Can you get SOC from your panel? What size solar panels do we have fitted? Do we have gas bottles or underslung?
Right, so yes, we have got a smart shunt. We've also got the standard Sergeant panel, and they work sort of together. The Sergeant panel isn't, so the Sergeant unit, sorry, isn't capable of charging lithium properly. So the Sergeant panel only tells us a minute amount of stuff really. We can turn all the the electrics on and off from the Sergeant panel, but all the readout is pretty limited. It can tell you the state of the water levels and stuff like that, and the battery voltage, but because we've got lithium, the smart shunt, it's basically able to give you everything that you want. Yes, there's an app that goes with it. It tells you your state of charge, it tells you how many amps you're drawing, how many amps you're putting in, everything that you want. If you look at the van review video that we did recently, I did put some screenshots of it up of what it does, but yeah, that basically runs as a tandem thing. Both sets work together, if you like. Solar panels, there are 2 100-watt solar panels on the roof. What else did he ask?
LPG.
There are, there's no gas bottles in this. It's a standard underslung tank, the same as we had in the old van. There was one other thing I think he asked.
No, that was it.
Was it?
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
No.
That will do for now. Lol, he puts at the end of that.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for all these questions.
Is that it? Is that it for questions?
Yes, just Alex.
Ah, no. Okay, we'll do this for fun. My good friend Alex, is it TTX ELA? Yeah. He asked some daft questions, and
no, they weren't daft. Where is he?
They were. I'll humour him because I'm as daft as him.
You said any questions?
I did. Well, in fairness, was it Chris Terry put, what would you like us to ask you?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even bother with them.
And I put questions. So, but anyway, over to.
And you had silly ones from your mate Kieran as well.
Yeah, I think you ignored a few, but I did want to put Alex's in because he's as daft as me. So go on then, ask Alex.
Okay, so number 1. Have you ever considered mounting a rooftop tent to the Allegro?
Right, so if those of you don't know, I've got an old Austin Allegro car.
I'm sure it'll put a picture in for you.
And no, I haven't thought about fitting a rooftop tent to it. No, that would be silly. Stop asking silly questions, Alex. I'd live in the boot if I was going to sleep in it, wouldn't I?
You'd live in the boot. Okay. Question number 2. Now, I will say, before I ask this question, he will never have a pet squirrel because he doesn't like squirrels.
Tree rats.
Tree rats. But he wanted to know, if you did have one, what would you call it, him or her? Or not, what would you call it, him or her?
Ah, well, if I had a pet squirrel, I'd call it Alex, because then it's a him or a her.
Ah, okay, very clever. That was quick thinking.
No, I've read the questions previously.
Okay, question number 3. Do you prefer pies or sandwiches?
This is an easy question. A pie sandwich. If you've never tried it, you've not lived. 2 slices of really thick bread, buttered to death, with a pie inside. Thank me later.
And you wondered why he's like he is. Giant off Gladiators.
Oh, I don't know about that. If there was a gladiator called Fatso, we'd be alright.
Okay. Which is your favourite dinosaur?
Which is my favourite dinosaur? Barney.
Barney's your favourite dinosaur?
Yeah.
Mine would have to be the one with the toe.
Here we go.
The one with the spikes all the way down the back, and I can't think what it's called. I don't know.
Well, I don't either, but I'm making you look daft.
I can look daft without your help.
There you go. Hopefully that helped, Alex. Right then, that's about it. I think we're probably done. Sorry it had to be 2 videos.
And the other thing is that, obviously, at the beginning of the very first one, Rick said, if you've got any more questions, put it in.
Yes.
So if you really want some more torture...
If you really want some more, stick them in below and we might do another one.
And Poppy did the biggest sigh there that you probably couldn't hear. And it's, I don't know whether it's because she's bored.
I'm bored.
Or it's because nobody asked anything about her.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I'll ask these questions because these get asked in the comments all the time. How old's Poppy?
She'll be 12 in April.
What sort of dog is Poppy?
She's a Yorkshire Terrier Patterdale cross. So she's a double terrier.
Yeah.
Or, as I like to call her, because she's a Patterdale Yorkshire, she's a porky. Get that?
Yeah.
Yorkie, porky, Patterdale porky.
I call her the Yorkshire terrorist.
Yes.
But anyway, enough of that. We will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Say
Say
goodbye,
bye.
Pop.
Bye-bye.
Say goodbye.
No.